Well, hello there again. I'm Nico from Finn of Discs, and today I'm comparing the disc golf course statistics between Finland and the United States of America. Let's get into the video. Okay, so unfortunately, as you might have in Finland, it was snowing the whole day today, so I decided to not go outside and make all my equipment wet from the snow coming from the sky, but instead do a little bit of a statistical analysis on the courses between Finland and USA. So try to explain what kind of a situation it is course-wise, how many we have here, how densely they are located compared to the US, and also I'm comparing some of the pro courses, so top 5 according to my arbitrary ranking, top 5 courses on both countries and seeing if there's any differences there. So I'd like to start from the screen here. I pulled out UDisc, and as you can see, we have many courses everywhere. So obviously the USA has the biggest clumps or lumps of courses. We have some in South America, some in Africa. Then Europe is the second biggest lump, and then we have the solo Iceland doing their magnificent job there, and a lot of active areas in other places as well. So if we look at Finland in detail, we see that there is quite a bit of courses on here, and especially they're centered around the southern Finland. So you can see as we close in on it that there is quite a bit of courses, especially in southern Finland. You see a lot of activity here. And to compare, let's go to the other side of the pond. In US, I think when I was looking at it, the sort of most active area seems to be here around the Chicago area in terms of amount of courses. And when you zoom in, obviously you have a lot of courses there as well, especially in the Chicago area, but we have different places here just for reference. Sort of that would be the same area as here. So we count from here to the side of the place. It's around 500 kilometers, so 315 miles. And we can take that away and go back here to the same scale here. So it would probably be from around here to maybe here. Yeah, it's a little bit more, but this is basically the whole width of Finland. So as you can see from here, you might think that okay, Finland is quite big over here. Maybe 5 of Finland's will fit inside of the USA, but I found a nice little picture comparing the actual area to USA. So here you can see what the action is, and obviously the population density is a little bit different as well. So Finland, we have a couple of centers here, but then we have a bunch of different states. We have Illinois, Wisconsin, obviously Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all different states. So there's going to be multiples of people compared to Finland there as well. So I did a little bit of a stat here just to sort of see what the actual difference is between the countries. So as you can see over here, there are subtle differences between the countries in terms of population and area. So yeah, Finland obviously 5.5 million, USA over 300. The area also quite a bit different. So in actuality, you could pretty accurately fit, I don't know what, 30 Finlands inside of USA. So not quite 50 states, but almost. Disc golf courses, this is an estimation based on the little bubbles that UDisc gave me. So Finland, I will say 989 I sort of zoomed out enough that I could count them within a reasonable time, and then but not too big that they consume other countries' courses too much. So I think this is quite close. US, it was a little bit easier to narrow down because Canada and Mexico don't have a lot of courses there, so they're separated quite nicely there on the map. So these I feel are quite close, at least representative. So population by course, Finland 5,600, so quite a few more courses per capita than in US. Obviously also goes then for square mileage or kilometrage, whichever you'd like to use. Then the important question, when the eventuality that will come, that disc golf baskets will be the most valuable asset, most valuable commodity. For some reason they will also be the fixed ones already installed on courses. So when you have to fight for your own basket in that eventual future, in Finland that fight is a much easier one, because you only have to fight around 310 people to get one. And if you have a big family, that's sort of manageable. In the US, however, that's a way more difficult fight at the moment, but luckily that's not now, so we have time to build more courses and more baskets, so let's prepare for that. But then I also looked at different pro courses on US and as well as Finland, based on, as I mentioned, a sort of an arbitrary classification of mine. I took sort of courses that I felt were topical, so they have competitions there in current day, and also that they hold some sort of value. For example, here in the US, I took Pro Tour courses as well as some major course or a major course, but we'll start with the Hornet's Nest. So that's obviously the place for the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championships. So the competition format is a bit different than the other courses we will see here, but for the comparison sake, but it's an important course for the season, and quite an old course, 96 built. Then we have Disc Side of Heaven Championship course from Jonesboro, obviously on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, relatively new, 2013. Then we have Winthrop University, which is the legendary place for the legendary United States Disc Golf Championship, so USDGC. Quite an established course, 1992. Then we have Maple Hill, which hosts now OTB Open, sorry, MVP Open. My bad. 3 letters, you can mix them up. 2002, so also have been there for a while. Quite a notable course in the US, I think. Then we have Toboggan in Michigan, which houses hosts the Discraft Great Lakes Open, so D-Glow between friends from 2000, so quite an established one as well. Then we move into Finland, so these courses are all either on the Pro Tour last year as well as this year, or then otherwise significant, you will notice why. So Tali would be the first one in Helsinki, one of the, if not the most popular course in Finland, as they also say here, and crowded. It's very crowded in the summer. So that was established in 1970, so that's actually the oldest course on the list total, so it's one of the oldest courses in Finland. Obviously it has been developed a lot over the years, and the Pro Tour layout that we'll be looking at is not something that has been on there since 1970, so the play has changed, the game has changed. Anyway, the course is the same. Then we have Nokia Disc Golf Park, otherwise known as the Beast. So this hosts European Open. Hopefully this year it'll manage to happen as well. So we'll be looking at the Nokia Open layout from last year. So it was a was an 8-year competition last year. Then we have Kippasuo at Heinola, also a very demanding course, pro level course from 2004. So have been there for a while, but has been developed quite a bit since that was in the Pro Tour last year and will be in the Pro Tour this year. Then we have Tampereen Frisbee Golf Keskus, then one of the newer ones, 2018, has 27 holes, but we'll be looking at the 18-hole layout from the Pro Tour last year. And then last but not least, we have Puyo Disc Golf from Kuopio. This is also quite a new course. It wasn't in the Pro Tour last year, but it will be on the Pro Tour this year. So looking forward to seeing how the people, how the competitors will handle it. But yeah, that's it. So it's not based on sort of top rankings based on rankings on UDisc, because that's, if I took top 5 courses based on rankings on UDisc blindly, it will be an interesting list, let me say that at least. So let's look at these courses in a bit more detail. So I took, as I mentioned, the last sort of bigger tournament, so the biggest tournament of last year that was held on the course. I took the layout of that competition to the best of my abilities and then mapped out the 18 holes here based on distances, both meters, feet, par amounts, then took some averages here. So I will scroll here. So these are the Finnish courses more or less, if you want to have a little screenshot or sort of just pause a bit, then look at them. Then we have the American ones here listed. And then what I did here, I took those averages and I compared them a little. So I have put both the courses here individually, compared them against each other, and also taken the averages for Finland and US. The color schemes are more a tool to differentiate between the different courses. I'm not saying with the red or white or green that they particularly are better or worse. It's just sort of way to differentiate a little bit between. And if you are green-red colorblind, then I'm sorry, you'll just have to look at the numbers. But yeah, this is so the par levels similar from 58 to 64. So obviously 64 being the most popular one. Again, with this, I won't be going into all of the details, so please pause the video if you want to look at all the numbers. But so averages come out to be around the same, which then means the average pars will be the same. Then on the count of different kind of holes, so par 3s seem to be quite more frequent or popular in Finland, whereas par 4s are definitely more popular in US, but then again par 5s are more popular here in Finland. So obviously this is a small sample size, so this might, if we take 50 courses, it might be different, but this is what we're working with now. The distance-wise, Finnish courses tend to be a little shorter. There are some, it's not clear-cut that way, but mostly shorter in Finland. The average par distance is also quite similar, but smaller or shorter in Finland in general. So, but we can see from here that in both countries these par amounts, for example, on the par 3s, is not something that us mere mortals will handle. So this is quite on the unreachable side for many general average golfers, also taking into account that most of these par 3s are maybe in the woods or with some other obstacles. So these distances are nothing to sort of scoff at. Obviously, toboggan, the distances are huge, but that's understandable given the nature of the course. And obviously, I would like to sort of do a more in-depth analysis on how the courses are like. What's the sort of layout? What's the environment? Are they in the woods? Are in the open? And so on. But we don't have time for it here to make it sort of somewhat compact video. It's not going to be all that compact, but anyway, but yeah. So if you would like me to do that, then I will gladly do so. I will try to visit most of these courses and others over the summer, so that I could do some sort of course vlogs and reviews on the. I have visited Tali, I have visited Tampere and Kippasu and Heinola, so I know what those courses are like. I haven't visited the Beast or Puijo, so it would be interesting to see. I plan to do that in the summer. So, but let me know what in the feedback comments what you think. Is this interesting or not? I think to me at least it is. I think to me. I should know that to me it is. But then I took the latest biggest event. I have shown here what the event was that I took. So I took that layout. What was the result of the first result that achieved 1,000 rating? Obviously ratings aren't the truth to everything. It's not the most objective measurement that we have regarding courses, but it's one of the better ones to actually compare how the competition is going. So in here we can see that the result to par, with the outlier being Puijo a little bit, with -7 being the score. So the averages turn out to be quite the same. So around a par result or a little bit under would have given you 1,000 rated round. The highest round rating for these competitions here, again similar, but we can start to see some differences here. So in the US competitions we get the highest spikes are higher, and we will see why it is, or why I assume it is. And then here obviously in Puijo you can see the difference between the highest result being -10, but then -7 being 1,000 rated. So there are a lot of people packed together, so that's why -10, the biggest result, didn't get that big of a rating. And that but overall, again, similar, highest rate or highest rounds, the best scores around -10 level for all of these. But then now we're getting to the reason why those ratings maybe are a bit different, is the Finnish group size and the percentage of group under par overall at the end of the tournament. So we can see that the group sizes are quite a bit smaller in Finland, which is understandable, even though we have a lot of disc golfers here. But then the percentages of people that managed to get under par on that course, even though the best received similar results over US and here, but then the best are fewer and far between. So then the field is not as even. So in the US, when the field is more even, there's more people going under par. Obviously the outliers will then get better ratings, also helped by the fact that most of the people competing will have better ratings than we would have here in Finland. But anyway, so you can see clearly the attendance was larger, the field is stronger overall in the US tournaments, which means that then the ratings are easier to get, and overall it's not easier to get under par maybe, but just more people do. But yeah, this is the little analysis on that. I hope that was interesting to you. I also want to point out that I did sort of do some geographical distribution on the courses as well. So for example, in Finland we can see that they are representing a little bit different parts of Finland. Obviously we have Tampere and Nokia being quite close to each other, so that's a bit of an outlier. But Kuopio, Puijo is a bit up north, and in the States we have, well, this is more sort of east Midwest locations, and we have Charlotte being the big disc golf city. We have a couple of courses there, but other than that it's a little bit distributed. We could have had, for example, Waco from Texas or something else from the West Coast, but this is what we're working with now. So this is not a very in-depth analysis of the courses, but some statistics there for you to wonder. But yeah, but that's it basically. I'll end it there. Maybe blabbed on a bit too much even, but yeah. But please, it's very interesting to see where people are throwing discs and how popular disc golf is around the world. So please share this video to a friend of yours that lives in another country and loves disc golf, and have them comment on my video, have them comment below that where are they from, and that's it. And if they love disc golf and how long have they done it or whatever, because it would be interesting to see, kind of have the ball rolling and see what kind of responses we get under the video in the comments section. How many countries can we gather together there? But so please do that. But then, speaking about gathering people, as I mentioned in my previous video, I surpassed 100 subscribers, which is great, and we're going to want to get more even, but I'm very happy with that already. And I was promising a giveaway, so it's not going to be sort of anything that fancy, but I have a few maybe interesting discs. Hopefully you will find them interesting. So I will do so that until next Friday, so until the end of next Friday, so whatever time zone you're at, I will wait until all the time zones have gone through Friday, and I will then go through the comments and raffle. Hey, I forgot to mention when I was originally filming it, and I didn't want to do it all over again, that if you want to list yourself into the giveaway, please add to your comment subbed to indicate that you are subscribed, if you are subscribed. I will trust the kindness and goodness in your hearts and your honesty this time around. So, so do that, and I will be counting your comment into the raffle or whatever it will be. Thank you. So basically, pick someone by chance who has commented something. Hopefully it's from another country than Finland, which is likely since most of my viewers are either Finland or US, so at least so far. Hopefully we can change that a little bit. So I will then pick somebody and I will mail one disc to the winner on my cost wherever in the world you are. So that's going to happen. I have 4. The winner can select from 4 discs. They can have me sign it if they decide to have that be more valuable that way. I have a couple of different selections. So I have a couple of my used discs. If it's sort of interesting that I have used these discs in the past, then you might go for these. These are new unthrown discs. They're all technically from 4 different manufacturers. So we have a Plasma Volt from MVP. So the funny thing about this is that it's the old plasma stamp. So they're not making them with this stamp anymore. But this has been thrown a lot. Not a lot. It's thrown a little bit, but it's not super beat in. Then we have quite an interesting disc. Not many maybe have even seen this. So we have a Whippet X. So this is a star Whippet from Innova. I don't think they make these anymore. It's a very overstable, I think fairway it's calculated as, maybe 6-7 speed or something like that. Very overstable, very domey, very strange disc, but it was the tilt when there was no tilt or mutant or whatever. So I have also used this in the past. Then we have a couple of unused discs. We have a Discraft Meteor, titanium Meteor from Foundation Discs, special stock, not stock, but special made edition. Then we have a Streamline Discs Lift, which is an understable fairway. no stamp neutron. For the life of me, can't remember now what the special name for the neutron plastic was with these swirls, but anyway, this swirly fairway. So we have a mid-range, a few fairways, and one of them being a weird overstable one. So a winner I will select, they can then choose, then I will mail it. So thank you everybody, this was it for this video. Again, please go check out my Instagram if you're interested in learning about these videos beforehand or seeing what's going on in my life in other parts of the weeks, days, hours, minutes and seconds. But yeah, that's it. Until, oh yeah, by the way, so because I did not do the putter video this week, I will try to fit in 2 videos for next week. So both the putter analysis, the Rainmaker review, as well as continuing on the statistic lines, but moving on to players. So comparing now that the first event in with the Vegas Challenge, Las Vegas Challenge is coming in a couple weeks. I want to do a video before that analyzing a little bit the sort of top Finnish players against the top American players and see whether they have any differences, and sort of let's start the discussion before the season starts. So hopefully I will get to make 2 videos, but let's see. But until the next video, so long.